Entry number 42, subject report Vapula Rising. What began as a desperate plea from a college student would soon spiral into one of the most harrowing encounters with a demonic force ever documented. This is the story of Vapula Rising, an intense account of psychological torment, supernatural escalation, and a confrontation that pushed the boundaries of human endurance and divine intervention. It started innocently enough, a post online. A student, young and frightened, described terrifying experiences, shadowy figures resembling large bipedal canines with glowing red eyes, once gentle animals lashing out in his presence, unexplained cuts, bruises, scratches with no origin. And then, the dream. He found himself trapped in a void. A presence loomed, Vapula, a powerful, ancient entity demanding a contract. The student refused. In retaliation, Vapula shoved his hand into a glass case. He awoke screaming, his hand bloodied. The wounds were real. Desperate, he turned to an old friend for help, was given a jade talisman for protection. But the charm was reduced to dust. Without explanation, even his friend, overcome by fear, cut all ties. The student's cries eventually reached Dakota Frandsen, a seasoned paranormal investigator known as the specialist of the strange. Dakota identified the entity, Vapula, described in ancient lore as a mighty duke of hell, appearing as a lion with the wings of a griffin, a commander of 36 legions, and a teacher of forbidden knowledge. This wasn't just a haunting, this was a possession. During the exorcism, the student changed. His voice, no longer his own. His body blistered and bled, rupturing in violent spasms. At times he nearly combusted, but in the end, Dakota succeeded. The bond was severed. The student, though shaken, was free. At least, that's what they thought. 2 weeks later, the student, still haunted by the fear of Vapula's return, took his own life. A heartbreaking end to a battle already hard fought. But the story didn't end there. Shortly after, Vapula came for Dakota. It manifested in his home, 10 feet tall, leonine with glowing red eyes. It lifted Dakota, 6'7", 350 pounds, like he weighed nothing. He was losing until he called upon the Archangel Michael. A blinding light erupted, power surged through him. Vapula roared in agony and vanished. Dakota collapsed, unconscious, surrounded by signs of a violent struggle. His neighbor later confirmed that the events of the previous night were far from some late-night terror. A flash of white so bright it blinded him. Animalistic shrieks. It sounded, she said, like an angel smiting a demon, straight out of a TV show. But this wasn't fiction. This was real. The aftermath left more questions than answers. Why was the student targeted? What did Vapula want? And what makes one person vulnerable while another becomes a warrior? Vapula Rising is more than a paranormal report. It's a reminder that darkness can find anyone, that even victory can come at a devastating cost, and that sometimes facing evil means calling on something greater than yourself. For Dakota Frandsen, the war continues. For the student, his story ends here. But his suffering won't be forgotten. Entry number 42 of the Frandsen Files Compendium concluded. End report.